Jeannie and Brian, this is your little 10-pack refresher. We started off in the very, very, very beginning when you were dancing, where you were dancing separate from each other. There just really wasn't that connection. And so we started to use compression or leverage in order to make sure that you could feel one another. So there's this gentle pressure toward or away from your partner while you're doing it. And most of the time in swing, we're using a toward. Then we'll do an extra little bit of towards each other, and then we'll do an away. And so it goes compression, compression, extra compression, leverage. Yeah? And so this, within your own body, became boom, I feel you. I'm using my body to make your body go where it's going. So that was a really major change for you guys. And then after we got you feeling that, we started talking about the follower in the rocks. You don't want to let the body fall back. You want to get the whole body back over it. You can touch the heel to the floor, but generally it's better to leave it off the floor slightly. So when you're doing the rock, and then we started getting your hips. Jeannie started using her hips more in this, and it became much more feminine and fun and playful. And it seemed like your personality was coming through more than, I'm not sure what's going on. It was more like, yeah, you're there. Then I started to see you relax, okay? And then Brian, with jazz training, we started getting you to really listen to each piece of music and feel it differently as you're doing the swing, okay? And then we did, let's see, we did left turning swing. And how much am I turning each time, Brian? Tell me real quick. Quarter, not more than a quarter. I'm going to do a half over one step, because then Jeannie goes, ah! Okay? And you can also go, you can turn it to the right. And then we had the one where slow, we put her right on our hip, right behind us. We're literally touching hips. My back hip to her front hip. We go walk, 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 walk. And then we start going like this. And we're going to just stand up and tap our toes and be rhythmic and fun. We're not going to get all squatty. And we also have that option of kicking between each other. Now, we haven't done it in a long time, but I did also teach you rock step. Slow, slow, quick, quick, which we just kind of let fall to the side. And if a couple does that, I generally don't pull something back in, because it's just generally kind of not something that really vibes with you. So we could bring that back in a future time.
I liked it.
I think that was a real good synopsis of what we did in swing. Now in Foxtrot, a whole nother dance you guys hadn't done much of. The difference is in when I do the footwork, I'm going ball flat in swing, ball flat, ball flat, ball flat. And why am I going toe first into the floor and then lowering the heel? It's putting the energy into my body. When I started the Foxtrot, it's a moving across the floor dance. So we talked about the rope, that the rope twirls on itself for the rhythm dances, which is swing, and then it's like swinging back and forth like Tarzan for the ballroom dances or the smooth dances, okay? So Foxtrot, especially Jeannie going back, it's really important to almost straighten the legs, almost completely straightening those legs, rather than going like this and getting caught. So your body weight stays up and forward, slow, slow, quick, okay? And the frame changes now when we use a lot of compression, a lot of leverage in swing. When we get to Foxtrot, there's a very light amount of it, a very small amount of pressure inward and outward. And how do we make his steps bigger? Do you remember? How do we make his steps bigger? By inviting, making that parachute feeling, sucking feeling of like, woof, come, I'm giving you room, move. And that'll open up his legs, okay? Because he's a lot taller. Okay, one of the main, really, really important things are the 5 centers of the body. We have foundation, foot into foundation. In other words, if I know how my foot feels, if I feel like my weight's in the right side of both feet, I know I'm falling to my right. If I can continue to feel my toes come off the ground, I'm leaning back too far. You might feel that in Foxtrot. Instead of keeping that feeling that they're on the ground. So that's foot and foundation. The second center is power, tops of the thighs, all the way up through the mid-waist and mid-back. And that's where we power ourselves from. So when I go to move her, I move her from the power center. Awareness center is a big follower center. It's also a leader, but the follower really has to lift this awareness center up and become very, very aware. We did that little dartboard thing where we stood on a dartboard, and you can, if you focus your eyes strongly, your awareness center is really tuned in, and you'll move subtly. If you imagine a couple of cocktails or several martinis later, you won't have as much control. So it's like a dial that your eyes focus to make it stronger, and it eases up in order to make it a little bit weaker. Which of those two dances do you think has a stronger focus? Foxtrot or swing?
Foxtrot.
Pretty close, but it's actually swing.
Is it
Because
really?
you're thinking about what's happening in your body, whereas Foxtrot, you're trying to like let it be a little more glidey. You're not, because when you're following, you want to try not to be in charge of your balance, but more use levitation versus
That's what I. That's
balance.
what,
Yeah.
That's what
So
I
really,
think.
they're very similar. The dances and the music that dances to them, they're very similar. It's just a slight change, a slight amount. And I could easily see how you might focus the other way too. And
No,
somebody else,
like-
some other teacher might agree
Yeah.
with you.
When I am pulling up, my legs move better.
They move better. Yes. Yeah.
in a
That's true.
foxtrot.
So so that's the levitation versus balance. What does that mean? That means if two people are trying to balance and they move together, and if I'm not on balance, if I lock my body and say I want to be on balance, we wind up running into each other. So the leader gets to have the balance, and the follower has levitation instead. So if he puts you slightly off your balance, levitation makes you feel okay. Balance makes you stop in your tracks, and then the leader runs into you. So followers have to lift or levitate instead of balance. The next one is cognition. That's where you think about your figures and your steps. That's where you think what's next, where's the room, where's the wall, what wall am I on, blah, 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 the computer chip. I remember the things I'm supposed to remember in terms as a follower. I don't want you thinking about figures or steps. I want you just following them. So I do purposely not teach you very much about what you're doing so that you're able to just kind of follow instinctively, and that's really good. And the last one is performance center, 8 to 10 inches above your head. Push your head up. It just wakes the body up and makes it want to move better. All right? Then we went into Foxtrot. In Foxtrot, we have the heel toe, heel toe. So we're actually going forward on a heel, 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 and you're going toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel. But it's a rolling. Notice that when I go like this, my body wants to move. When I go like this, my body doesn't go anywhere, and all the energy goes into my body. And that's why it's a rhythm dance versus a smooth dance. All right? We also talked about how once you get going into Foxtrot like this, you can kind of say, oh, that music's nice. I'm going to let it go a little bit. I'm going to do like a playing card at the top. I think you guys like that analogy that you twist the playing card a little bit. So you're okay to have a little bit of fun there. And the most important thing is, what's the name of my studio? Unique Studio. We want to find you in that dance. It's got to be Jeannie and Brian dancing Foxtrot or swing, not the swing, the Foxtrot. You see what I mean? It's super important that you are present, much more than that you have a lot of patterns. Okay? Good job.
Yeah.
Cool.